Okay, in this video, I'm gonna talk about the movie Something New with Sanaa. It's Sanaa, Lathan, Lathan, and Simon Baker of The Mentalist. Um, I've seen this movie before years ago, but I just got the DVD of the movie. I had to buy it twice because I bought it in a 3 DVD thing, and the CD that I got was not right, so it wouldn't play right. So I threw that one away and I bought Something New on its own. So I just watched it again a couple days ago. Okay. Uh, because I like to talk about one of my topics is inclusion and trying to normalize social, you know, social, trying to social, trying to normalize what people socially discuss and trying to make the absent present. So, interracial relationships has been a topic for many, many years in many different forms and situations. But I think that this movie covers it the best because um, it talks about a relationship, obviously, but it's not the typical that you think of. Okay, so Sanaa Lathan plays this character, Kenya McQueen, and she's a high power attorney. And she's made partner in the movie, but in the beginning she's going like they're considering her for partner. And it's based on this one account, Jack Pino. Okay, well, Jack Pino, the character, they they wrote it so the character is completely racist, biased, completely. I mean, she's the senior lead at the attorney firm, and he's like, "Do you have somebody else to come check your work? Are we waiting on somebody else?" And she's like, "No." And then so she has to deal with that, but then also she's single. So the thing is that um, one of her friends that she worked with, Leah, I guess another attorney, or I'm not sure what her position in the her workplace is, but they're friends because Leah is getting married soon, and so the first scene is her asking Kenya, "What dress should I wear to my wedding?" So she says, "Wear the one you love." So then Leah says, "Who do I know that's single for you?" So she says, "Brian, newly single, handsome, the whole thing." And Brian is Simon Baker. Okay, so she set up on a blind date because she does not know what Brian looks like. So they're supposed to meet at Starbucks. And they meet, and within 2 minutes or something, you can tell she's uncomfortable, and she's trying to make sure that everybody in the cafe or outside knows she's black. So she's like, "How you doing, brother?" All this stuff. And it's just like I guess I understand it, but it's so over the top. It's funny. So then she meets Simon Baker, Brian, and she says, "I'm not comfortable." You can just read it in the body language. Okay? So then he's like, "Okay, when you're comfortable, call me." So then within a couple of days after that, she meets him again because she's at this older woman's house looking at the landscaping she did in her yard. And she says, "Who did your landscaping? It's beautiful. I love it. I just got a new place. I want to do landscaping." So then she says, "Oh, Brian, come meet her," or whatever. So she's like, "No big deal." And then it takes a second or a couple seconds, and she realizes that the Brian that the woman's talking about is the same Brian she went on the date with. So then she tries to make it more comfortable, I guess. And she said, "Oh, it's just a small yard, nothing big, no big deal, whatever." So then he's like, "Okay, call me if you change your mind." So then I guess a week goes by, and she invites him to come over and look at her yard to see if he'll work on it and whatever. And so they're not friends yet, but she does say, "Excuse me for my rudeness," whatever. So then, um, Kenya McQueen, the character is written like she's allergic to everything because I think because it's in the story that she had asthma as a kid. And so then she's afraid of dogs, bugs. I mean, one of the beginning scenes also is when Leah says, "We need to get you somebody." She says, "Blind date. I don't do blind dates." And so Leah says, "Let's add that to the list of stuff Kenya doesn't do. Like outside, so and so in the color red." So then, okay. So then, after a couple weeks, I guess, it's, Brian and Kenya start getting along. And so he takes her on a date. Well, first she sees him working out in her yard and like all the stuff he has to do to make her yard right. She starts getting turned on. So then she goes to a ballet with her family, and you can tell that as she's watching it, she's thinking about him. So then within the week, I guess, they go on this date and hiking in a park or something, and it starts raining. Only Brian Simon Baker didn't know about it. So he says, "I'm so sorry, whatever." So she says, my weave, I can't, in the rain, I can't, you know. So then "I'm going to kill you." So then he takes her back to the house. They get back to her house, and she's like, "Oh, it's not going to go any further." So then, so then she's already like kind of dismissed it, whatever. And then he comes knocking on the door again, and then he doesn't say anything. He just kisses her and makes out, and they start like, you're supposed to believe that they start doing it against the wall. So then, after that, they start dating and stuff, and then, but the racial issues always come back up because, um, Brian is, I mean, obviously a white guy, so then he's not going to get all the undertones of racial stuff all the time. And the breaking point, because it's a romantic comedy, so then you have to have the boy meets girl, boy loses girl kind of thing. So the way that the losing is if they're in a grocery store, and he says, "You want to try salmon stuff for dinner?" And she says, "Okay, whatever." Like she's not paying attention. And she wants to talk about her day, but all he wants to do is get home, cook dinner, relax, whatever. So then she says, "Brian, if I can't talk to you about the racial stuff and the stuff that bothers me, what are we doing here? And then he says in the middle of the thing, maybe I'm not the guy for you. So they break up in the grocery store. Okay? Alright. So then her brother, which is played by Donald Faison, of Clueless and other, he's done a lot of other stuff. But so he's like, I found the perfect guy for you. A lawyer, a mentor of his. So then they meet and whatever. And Kenya thinks that he's the IBM, ideal black man. So then she does, I guess, what she's expected to do, go out with him and whatever. But then she has a realization when they're in the house, they're in her house and they're both working and they're not talking at all. All they're doing is sitting there on their computers doing whatever they do. She's doing lawyer stuff and he's doing whatever he does. Like, they're working on their computer. No talking, no nothing. So she knows internally something's wrong. So then he takes her home or whatever. And then she says, or he says, Kenya, I really want to, continue this and, the stuff that, like, I want another date. I want this to keep going. And she's like, no, this isn't going to go any further. And he's like, why? Am I going too fast? Like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she's like, I don't know, but it's not here. Like, I want something, but it's not here. So, and then she's like, she knows she's right, intuition, but she kicks herself and says, did I throw away a good man or whatever? But then, she's supposed to go to a cotillion, which is like the debutante ball. And then she just is having a miserable time. And finally, she breaks down. Her mother says something, I forget. And then she breaks down in the bathroom. Her dad comes in the bathroom. Her dad's in the bathroom talking to her. And it's the women's restroom. So then another woman comes in to use the bathroom. So she's like, oh, wow, should I go to the bathroom? Excuse me, like that. And he's like, I'm a doctor. I've seen everything. Like, just handle your business. So then, they continue. Kenya and her father continue to talk. And he says, look, we're not a pure race. We're all mutts and stuff. If you love Brian, if you have feelings for Brian, you should do something about it because I talked to him and he's a good man. And then so aside or whatever, the girl in the other stall is like, I wish my father was like that. And then, or in the bathroom, I wish my father was like that. And then the funny line is, she says, I don't let him out even on special occasions. So then they come to an understanding, and then she raises. Oh, okay. This is a pivotal point because in the beginning part of the movie, kind of, her brother Donald Faison has this car. They call it a whip, and she's like, "When will you let me use your car?" Or, and he says, I will never let you drive my whip. And so almost the last scene, she's like, I love Brian. I'm gonna get Brian. And he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, I love Brian. And he's like, okay, don't make love wait. Take my whip. Just take it. But he's like, easy on the 22s. So then the thing is that Brian was at a garden community party, something. So then she finds him Actually, she runs into his dog first, and then she runs into him. Then they have the moment of, I love you. And then he says, I'm never going to be a black man, whatever. And she's like, no, I don't want that. Like, I understand now that what I want is a life of adventure. And then she's like, I love you. And he's like, I've always loved you. Like, I never stop. So then they get back together. And the funny part, another funny thing is like, because it's a cotillion, okay, you're supposed to be dressed up. And he's in like blue jeans, t-shirt. So she's like, you know the guy with the guitar? The guy with the guitar is wearing a red jacket with like jewel stuff on the back, like all glittery. So imagine this. She's in a fancy dress and he's in a thing, but like dressed up with this jacket that's all glittery. So so they come walking in and like all these people are laughing kind of, but like they're all smiling. And you know how it is when you're happy and you don't care what people think? Like she's in that state. And then they kind of show the future, which I guess is a year, 6 months from then, where they got married because she's in a wedding dress, he's in the wedding stuff, like wedding attire, and they're dancing and stuff. So then you're supposed to believe they got married, which I mean, they did. But what I'm saying is, and so all the worries about will everybody get along was no problem. Everybody liked each other. So I guess in conclusion, I love the movie, obviously, because I've seen it a bunch of times before I bought the DVD. And I love the movie because, well, for three reasons. Good acting, good writing, and it's written, and most of the cast is women. So, like the producer's a woman, the writer's woman, the director's woman. So they they know how to write and how to do romantic comedy, so you'll believe it but enjoy it also. So yeah. Um. So yeah, if I had to rate it like out of 5 stars, I get 5 out of 5. So but yeah, I wanted to talk about it because it's a good movie, but it also talks about interracial relationships, but it paints in a um like a believable and a loving fashion. So I enjoyed the movie.